Of all of the open-world games to come out this year, Xenoblade Chronicles X may be the most formidable. It is a truly enormous game, both in scale and scope, with towering animals and rock formations stretching as far as the eye can see. Even after as many as 60 hours, X continues to provide taller mountains to climb and stronger opponents to topple, with no end of new challenges in sight. At the same time, X is a prolonged RPG with a predictable story and repetitive lifeless characters. You hear the same jokes over and over again, and endure drawn-out cutscenes with little to no emotional payoff. Like so many Japanese-made RPGs, serious characters and moments are undermined by the presence of a cute and cuddly sidekick.
Tatsu is no chicken, Lily! Tatsu is Tatsu!
When you aren't wincing at the sight of Tatsu, the game's stuffed animal of choice, you may be reeling from the soundtrack instead, which is filled with low-rent flops that make you reach for the mute button. And nothing is more frustrating than when your success is left to chance, a sin that occurs in X more often than it should. These are reasons enough to walk away from most games, but X isn't most games. By offering a steady stream of challenges and greater rewards, not to mention fantastic landscapes to explore, X has no problem enticing you back for more, despite its problems. Your journey begins when you wake up after being discovered in a life pod on planet Mira. A spaceship escaping Earth crash-landed on the planet after getting caught up in an alien conflict, and the few humans that remain are left to fight for their survival and the future of the species. As a member of Blade, the military organization in charge of scouring Mira and defending humanity, your only goal is to locate the invaluable pod known as the Lifehold.
All housed in a structure called the Lifehold.
During your search, you travel across alien lands and have to defend yourself from hostile wildlife. You and a party of 3 AI-controlled characters battle in a real-time combat system that offers a lot of depth. But unfortunately, like many of X's finer points, you're left to figure out how it all works on your own. Every character has a melee and a ranged weapon, and depending on their class, a selection of offensive and defensive skills at their disposal. Now, making use of these isn't difficult, but shortly after starting, you soon realize that not everything is under your control. Instead of casting healing spells or using consumable items to patch up wounded warriors, you rely on a QTE system, which is triggered by a complex array of events in battle to replenish your health. Sadly, like many of its advanced systems, X doesn't do a good job of explaining how this works. Something that's as basic as healing, in a game where combat is central to the experience, should really be made clear from the start. X does a poor job of explaining things in general, and you will spend a lot of time with the in-game manual, poring over pages in search of information. X allows you to dive deep into character development and resource management, but without guidance, you will undoubtedly get lost, and sideline more advanced pursuits in order to continue exploring and fighting, if only because those activities come so naturally. You should take the time to figure these subsystems out though, because they are the key to unlocking new skills and tools that allow you to continue hunting larger creatures and reaping greater rewards. Skells, the game's giant robots, are the biggest reward of all. After dozens of hours exploring a massive planet on foot, the moment you jump into a pilot seat of a skell is an awakening. You are considerably more powerful in combat, and when you transform into the skell's vehicle form, you can cover large swaths of land in no time. It can take 30 hours to get your first skell, and that long journey makes you truly appreciate your new powers when they finally arrive. With multiple skills to purchase and dozens of equipment to customize and upgrade, you will spend a lot of time filling out your repertoire of skills. But in order to get to that point, you have to complete roughly half of X's main story. While the vagaries surrounding X's subsystems can be frustrating for ambitious explorers, nothing is more confounding than X's mission structure. Sometimes you're required to arbitrarily explore a certain amount of land, or collect a certain number of items in order to access the next chapter of a story. X already has so many things for you to do, that the last thing it needs is missions that pad out the story unnecessarily. You often don't have enough time to do the things you'd like to do, let alone enough time to flounder around completing random tasks just to move to the next part of the plot. Mira and its inhabitants are awe-inspiring, and experiencing everything X has to offer is a monumental but ultimately rewarding task. It makes the journey consistently interesting in other ways, by giving you intricate control over your character's abilities and gear, unleashing greater opportunities over time. You will roll your eyes at the story and characters, and beat your head against the wall when you're forced to mindlessly grind for the sake of padding out the game's story. But these frustrations are quickly forgotten when you head into the wilderness in search of unexplored territory and unforeseen challenges. X is a grand adventure that satiates your appetite for exploration and combat in ways that few games ever do. But because getting started is half the battle, it's an experience reserved for dedicated players who have the patience and energy to unearth its greatest treasures.